The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k, because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an inch.
Hold on, let's talk about that though. $1,700 for one bedroom apartment is just absurd. Like, what times are we living in? Like, it's getting so crazy that it's like who is trying to make everybody homeless? Like, what? Like, when did that become the agenda? Like, what the hell's going on? Shit's pissing me off, honestly. I'm gonna keep it a buck. What it do is she do Osmo back at it again with another reaction. You feel me? Today I was just like, I was shopping. I went to the store, got a couple of things, and I was like, damn, I still spent like $40, $50 for nothing. Like some juice, some toilet paper, just essentials, you know? And I was just like, what the hell, bro? And I was like, that'd be a good topic to do some reactions to. So here we are, man. If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get back to it.
Level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy. The car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food, because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make 75 grand a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free.
Why do I feel like this is like the norm right now? Like, people don't do anything. Like, people I know are not doing anything. They're not going to Six Flags. They're not going to Disneyland. They're barely going out to eat. I can't remember the last time I went out to eat. Going out to eat, if you're doing that, that's a luxury now, honestly.
You don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows, just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do. That they should get a second job. That they should get a side hustle. That they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means, objectively, you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
60% of Americans don't earn enough to afford basic costs of living. This is America. And stop calling it the bottom 60%. 60% is over 50%, which means it's the overwhelming majority of people in the United States that cannot afford a minimum quality of life. Now, a lot of people like to talk about the official unemployment rate being 4.2%, and they're like, oh, it's so low. But what they never talk about is the US jobless rate is 24%. These are people who are considered functionally unemployed. That includes people who don't have jobs, People who have jobs but have poverty wages, which means they don't get paid enough to
There's a
even
lot
be
of
out of
them.
poverty. And people who are unable to find full-time employment because they're stuck in part-time jobs. And now those 60% of people who already can't make it to the minimum quality of life are about to start paying more money for fucking everything because of Trump's tariffs. Literally, Walmart came out and said that the US trade war is going to create higher prices and that higher prices are inevitable. Meanwhile, Trump is getting ready to accept a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar. He plans on doing a $92 million military parade for himself during his birthday. And Republicans are still trying to cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. And by the way, the Medicare, Medicaid they're trying to cut will kill 21,600 Americans per year. That's Trump's way of making America great again.
I don't agree with all
Living
that.
in America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth. And they're charging you rent for it. As soon as you get paid, it's gone. You buy groceries and the bags are lighter. You fill your tank and the needle mocks you. Food's up, rent's up, insurance, utilities, coffee. I mean, even your...
One thing I will say is gas is ridiculous right now. Gas is... Sadly, I live in California. And gas is like damn near $5 a gallon. Like, I remember when I was a kid, my mom would go fill up her Nissan with $20. $20 used to be enough to get us all the way to the IE from LA. That same amount of gas needed probably costs like $40 to $60 now. It's ridiculous, dude.
damn toothpaste is up. Everything's up. Except the paycheck. Oh, and everything's also smaller. Shrinkflation? Yeah, that's the way they rob you while smiling in your face. You're not imagining it. The box is smaller. The portions are skimpier. The price is higher, and you're supposed to eat it with a smile. This isn't bad budgeting. This isn't laziness. This is a rigged game where everyone at the top profits and everyone at the bottom is a slave. We're getting taxed, drained, and blamed every step of the way. If you feel it too, you're not crazy. You're just living in America in 2025. And it's fucking brutal.
The millennials and Gen Zers who are complaining that they can't buy a house are not working for minimum wage. These are people making $60, $70, $80, $90,000 a year who can no longer afford a house. But minimum wage workers are also complaining because they can't afford rent. If you look back to 1980, the rent was $243. Minimum wage was $3.10, meaning your monthly gross was $496. So to rent this apartment, it would be 48.9% of your gross income back in 1980. But let's fast forward to 2024. The average rent is $17.47. The federal minimum wage is $7.25, giving you $11.60. You can't even get an apartment with the federal minimum wage. But let's be generous and double the federal minimum wage because...
And that's the big problem right there, is that you cannot work a regular job and afford to live. You know what I'm saying? Wages have not moved. You know, you could have been making like 80 grand 20 years ago and you would have been living life up in the sky. But since things have increased, but they haven't increased your wage, that 80 grand seems less and less every single year. And that's really what the problem is that money has not kept up with just the price of things, man. It's just getting out of hand and something needs to be done. I have an idea, but I'm going to give it at the end.
People at Walmart and fast food joints are making $14.50 to $15. So $14.50 would bring you to $23.20. So technically you're making more, but this is your gross, and it'd be 75% of your gross income, making double the federal minimum wage in 2024. But let's take it even a step further. ZipRecruiter said that the starting pay for college graduates is $24 an hour. So that would be $38.40 a month. So someone with a bachelor's degree could afford this one-bedroom apartment, but it would be 45.4% of their gross income. A college graduate is spending the same amount of their income on rent as the minimum wage worker in 1980 did. Roughly the same. And the minimum wage worker in 1980 put on a hat, learned skills for 2 weeks, and started their job. A bachelor's degree spent 4, 5, 6 years of their life in school and $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and now have to spend the same amount of money on rent as a minimum wage worker did in 1980.
Hey,
Crazy.
I don't give a damn what nobody say. It has never been this expensive to live. Ever. Like, in no era when motherfuckers was making $1 an hour, it was never this expensive to live. Eggs, $10 a piece. Like, you walk in the store, you get 3 things, you at
$10 for
fucking
eggs is
$65. Obviously, I just went, grocery shopping, so I'm venting a little bit, but like this shit don't make no sense. It really makes absolutely no sense how expensive shit is. Like, so if you ain't got a partner that's really ready and willing to help you out and like really like build this shit together, man, get the fuck on.
Yeah, I will say that's another thing. Like, the nuclear family has just been completely obliterated. People are not making families, and having a family is so core to having a support system to help you out, and they really just decimated. I mean, people are not getting together, staying together, getting married. Like, it's a rare occurrence. It's really rare, and I feel like that's a big part of success in life, just in general. People back in the day were getting married. There was way more fathers in the home, and that really made a difference. It really did, and it really does.
Like, ain't gonna lie, this is not the time to be taking care of nobody else. I don't give a damn what you say. If the motherfucker ain't helping, they are literally hindering your ability to be able to get shit done.
One thing I've learned about being an American citizen is that it's better to be poor than be middle class. Because being middle class is the hardest fucking shit. You literally can't get no fucking help from the government if you are middle class. And you barely can survive out here being middle class. It's like if you're middle class, you don't qualify for certain things. Like, you can't qualify for an apartment because you got to make 3 to 4 times the rent. And of course, you're not making that being middle class. And I'm literally like right over the threshold of being fucking poor. And it's fucking dumb as hell, because if you're making over $2,500 in a month, you can't even qualify for any fucking governmental assistance. That makes no goddamn sense to me. Because $2,500 in a month is literally nothing when you have all other types of fucking bills. America's really like ass fucking backwards.
I need somebody to tell me how I'm supposed to make it in today's economy. Bro, shit's so high, you can't. It's hard to go grocery shopping. I mean, you go in the store.
I am telling you, that's what made me make this video. Is the grocery shopping. The groceries are just ridiculous, and like, I feel like they're not getting worse. You know what I'm saying? Thank God they're not getting worse, but they're still absorbently high. They're ridiculously high.
With say $300, you ain't coming out with much. And I remember back in the day, 300. Shit, if you was shopping with that, you had a buggy full of meat, shrimp, steaks, enough, to last a while. Now, $300 might get you 6 little bags. That's pitiful, man. Something's got to change. The gas prices is still high. What happened, man? I thought Trump was gonna help us. This ain't what I expected when I voted this year, bro. Last year. That's not right. Something got to change. We can't make it. How are we gonna make it?
Y'all, look at the cost of living in 1938, man. A new house, $3,900. The average income was $1,700. So you mean to tell me if you had no responsibilities or if you had a plan, you could save up your checks for 2 years and be a homeowner? The house paid off. That's crazy work. New car, $860. Average rent was $27. Tuition to Harvard was $420 per year. Movie ticket 25 cents. Gasoline 10 cents per gallon. And United States postage stamp is 3 cents. I was going to say I would be living like a god back then, but then I remember it's 1938. I'd be living like a runaway slave. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought it would be cool to go ahead and compare some of those numbers to today's pricing. Now, everything I'm about to say is going to be based on average, so it may be different in your area depending on where you live. But the average cost of a home nowadays is $644,750 in the United States. The average income for Americans is $40,000 per year. The average car price nowadays is anywhere between $48,000 and $49,000. Now, according to Zillow.com, the average rent in the United States right now is about $1,813 per month. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more in some places like New York or Florida, Miami. Any places that have a lot of people, rent's obviously going to be higher. Now, one of the ones that was most interesting was the tuition to Harvard University being $420 per year. Tuition to Harvard University in today costs $13,000.
Damn.
After financial aid.
That's crazy.
$86,000 without it. The average movie ticket nowadays is about $12. Gas is about, on average, $3.26 per gallon. California, I'm so sorry. And the cost of a stamp in the United States is about 73 cents. Now, what's crazy is the fact that we went from a $1,700 average annual income to about a $40,000 annual income, which is about a 2,250% increase, right? It sounds pretty good. But it's crazy that the average cost of a new house being $3,900 back in 1938 has skyrocketed to $644,000 in 2025, amounting to a 16,000% increase. Don't ask me why.
That's crazy. Like, it's damn near $1 million to own a home nowadays. Like, that's ridiculous. Why is owning a home a luxury? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get you should work hard to own a house, but it shouldn't be like trying to own a Lamborghini. Like, what? It's a house. Jesus.
I'm broke.
Fun fact, did you know in 2000 a new car cost less than today's iPhone? Let's rewind to when everything was affordable. The average salary in 2000 was $42,000. You could buy a house, pay bills, and still have enough for a weekend trip. A 3-bedroom ranch-style home could be yours for $120,000 with a yard and garage, all for less than some studio apartments today. Utilities under $150 a month. No apps or smart meters, just paper bills and money left for fun. In 2000, you could buy a new Honda Civic for just $15,000, and gas was only $1.50 a gallon. Fill up for $20 and hit the road without worrying about prices. Eggs for under $1, milk for $2.75. Groceries were affordable, and you could stock up without breaking the bank. Your phone bill? $50. Those before social media took over. Just texting, calling, and ringtones. T9 texting was the real skill. The years of 2000s were affordable and fun. If you missed the good old days, hit follow for more. And comment what was your favorite moment of the 2000s.
The American dream is dead. And that's it. It's this kind of home that used to be the end goal for so many people just like me. But now these homes are selling for $655,000. But there's a whole generation that used to be able to buy something like this on a very modest income. So just like many of you, I was raised by 2 baby boomers who made the American dream happen. This house was listed in April of 2023 for $550,000. But it sold 2 months later for more than $100,000 over asking. But baby boomers just like my parents were able to buy this house for just under $300,000. Now, the 3X rule says you shouldn't spend more than 3 times your household income on your house. So boomers would have only needed a $98,000 household income to buy this home in 2002. Per person, that's $49,000. Now, although that is slightly above average, it's not at all what we have to go through. For millennials to buy this house, you'll need a combined income of $218,000. So each individual will need to earn an income of $109,000. That is more than twice the national average. Now, I'm not showing you all of this so we can go place blame, but I am pointing it out because yes, things have gotten more difficult. But if you're anything like me, you still want the American dream, and I'm going to do exactly what it takes to get it. Even if that means having more than twice the national average, I'm going to have my family in a house like that. Like, follow, and comment what your thoughts are.
Hopefully it's not.
Y'all can read this for yourselves. There's not one U.S. state where working 40 hours a week is enough to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. That is sad. That is so ridiculously sad. And the other day I heard an elderly woman talking about something. These younger folks don't know what working hard is. As someone who had 3 jobs in college while being a full-time college student, y'all are really checked out with reality.
That is one thing
now.
I can't stand when I hear like older folks say, "Oh, you guys don't work hard enough." These people did not work more than 40 hours a week. People my age and lower are working 2-3 jobs. And you gonna tell them they don't work hard? Like, what? You guys were home by streetlights. What? Man, I'm telling you, don't ever let no older person tell you you're not working hard enough or you're not where you're supposed to be at. Whatever. They had a different life. Things are totally different. People are literally working 80-hour weeks. Unheard of back in the day. You went to your job from 6 o'clock in the morning to like 2 o'clock in the day and went home, bro.
Like, everything is too expensive. I went to the store the other day. One bottle of Sprite and a bag of Doritos. Guess how much? $5.50 for one bag of chips. The bag wasn't even huge. It was around this. It was around like one of those dollar size bags. If you knew back in like 2010, those dollar size bags. It was one of those, and a regular 16-ounce Sprite. Imagine the prices of a 2-bedroom apartment. I think the lowest you can get is probably like $1,200. The lowest you can get.
Let's see. All you need is first month, which is $700, plus a deposit of $350. Yeah, that works for me. Thank you. Let's see. All you need is your first month, which is $950, plus your deposit, which is another $950. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I remember when that was the new thing.
I'm going to need my notepad for this one, but here's what you're going to need. You're going to need 3 times the rent, which is going to be $2,300. You're going to need a deposit.
Whoever invented you needing 3 times the rent to rent an apartment, they need to, I ain't trying to say go to hell, but man, they did some disastrous work. Like, come on, bro. They screwed a lot of people. Yeah, let's make everything 3 times the rent. You need 3 times the rent. Bruh. And then they not even making 3 times the rent. Like, it's crazy. I don't know who decided that was the new way to rent out places, man. Oh my God.
Let's see. You're also going to need a credit score of 750, no exceptions. You're going to need to have no evictions in the last 10 years. But wait, I'm not finished. There will be no pets allowed. Application fee non-refundable, which is $75 per adult. There's going to be a late fee of $50 per month. There's a $35 transaction fee. There is a fee to the fee of $25. Yeah, no, apparently I can't afford it. So I'm going to stay with my parents who purchased that house in 1980 for $42.30. So thank you.
Bro,
Crazy.
The cost of living is so stupid, it actually pisses me off to think about. Because ain't no way, bro. I'm at the store and a gallon of milk is like $3, $4, $5. What? There's no way I go get some gas and a gallon of gas is almost $4, $5? Huh? Hey, G, I'm blue right now, G, because all of this shit, bro, is so ridiculous just because, bro, the cost of living is all the way up here, but the wages that job pay is all the way down here. They make you have to work double, triple, quadruple just to live, bro. And I don't know if people really be thinking about it, G. We wake up every single day to pay to live. Like this shit wasn't free once upon a time. Who idea was this? You feel me? It ain't even that we have to pay to live. It's the amount. Like, bro, it's 1-bedroom cribs and apartments out here for $1,500. What? A $1,500 apartment, bro? And then the old heads be thinking that they had it easier than what we did. Fuck no. Y'all had way cheaper than we did.
I'm 35 years old. I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor at my friend's place because it's impossible to get a rental or it's way too expensive. And my only options are sleep in my car, sleep on the floor at my friend's house, or try and find a room in a share house if I can afford it, if there's any available. Knowing my luck, I'll end up with some fucking weirdos. How are those my only options?
Yeah.
How are those the only...
I knew we were screwed when I started seeing places that were like, oh, it's $700 a month for a room. For a room. It's $1,000 a month for this room. Like, what? What? I remember you can get a place, a 2-bedroom in LA for $1,000. How do we get to a single room? No bathroom included. You share the bathroom with everybody else. It's really bad. It's really bad.
Options of many Australians right now. Before anyone says, you're 35, why don't you own a house? I did own a house in my 20s. I owned a house with my ex for 6 years. We bought at a good time in 2012. Then we split. He paid me out. It wasn't enough to then go and buy another property. So I think I'm just going to have to start applying for rentals, like 1-bedroom apartments. I don't mind living in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment, but having to pay $500 a week is fucked. I earn an average wage, but I can't afford that.
Yeah, man, it's just really bad right now. Like I said, if you was making 80 grand back in like 2001, you was living like a king. But things went sky high, and you still got that same wage. The wage ain't even moved. And so things are just out of hand. Like even the people who were making good money are no longer making good money. It's simple as that, man. The middle class has just been gutted, decimated. It's a wrap. They're cooked. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's lots of ways to make opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities to make a lot of money. That is definitely true in 2025. But if you don't know, or if you're, you know what I'm saying, locked into your career or whatever, then you kind of screwed, man. Right nowadays, it's bad. If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here. Deuces.